Hello, my name is Neha Patki, and I'm the co-founder and head of product here at Datacebo. Datacebo is the company behind the Synthetic Data Vault, or SDV, a platform for generating high-quality synthetic data. In this video series, we focus on all the tools and features that you need to be successful with synthetic data. Today is all about ID columns. I'll show you how an incorrect ID column can make an entire synthetic database unusable, and how SDV Enterprise automatically gets ID columns right. Now, if you've ever been part of a software development team or QA process, then you know that test data is vital for stress testing your applications. This is especially important now, when enterprises are embedding new technology like autonomous AI agents into their workflows. It's more critical now than ever to test that with realistic test data. And that's where synthetic data comes in. You can use an AI model to create synthetic test data and refresh it frequently for testing. This is a situation where your synthetic database should have multiple valid tables. And today, I'll go through the different types of ID columns that can appear in that database, and how SDV Enterprise maintains realism when it's creating synthetic test data. If an ID column isn't created correctly, then your test data is likely to fall apart. Applications may not be able to parse the values. They may not be able to navigate through your database, and they may not be able to follow the business workflows that are linked together by those IDs. So you won't be able to run any tests using that test data. So let's dive into ID columns now. ID columns have important roles in a database. Primary keys are IDs that uniquely identify every row in a table. And this allows foreign key IDs to reference them. So in database speak, we call that referential integrity. It means that the foreign key ID reference should be found. So essentially, you shouldn't have any broken links. And ever since we created SDV, we've made sure that your synthetic data always contains referential integrity. But there's more to IDs than just referential integrity. An ID value itself might be meaningful. It might contain important information that needs to be carried over into your synthetic data. So we've seen that ID values typically fall into one of three categories. First, you have natural key IDs. This is when you use an outside concept, like emails or social security numbers, as the official ID for your database. Second, you have what's called a surrogate key. This is when you essentially tell your system to make up a value, like keep an incrementing index or a random number of digits. It's completely meaningless on its own because its only purpose is to identify a row or link to another row. Still, it can have a very specific format, such as 2 letters and then a dash and then 6 digits. So it's important for synthetic data to capture this format so that you can accurately test any applications that would assume it. Right? Maybe they need to actually be able to parse that format in order to function. And finally, you have this third bucket of hybrid keys. It's a hybrid of surrogate and natural values. So this is when your system mixes a natural concept and then adds a surrogate value too. So an example is when the first characters of an ID may refer to a type of payment in a financial database. So an ACH transfer, a wire transfer, or a credit or debit card transfer. Right? This is a natural concept in finance. But then there's a dash, and the last 6 digits are completely random surrogate values. So other domains might have similar business IDs, but just with different concepts embedded into them. So for the hybrid key case, it's important that the synthetic data captures not only the overall format of it, but also these natural concepts that are embedded inside it. So the good news is if you use SDV Enterprise to create the synthetic data, you'll be happy to hear that the AI algorithms are built to understand all of these nuances in ID columns. So when you train your AI model with SDV Enterprise, it reads your data, and first it automatically identifies whether it's a natural key or not. And if it's not a natural key, then it'll detect the format of that ID column and then understand each of the components. So again, some of those components could be natural and other components could be random surrogate values. And depending on what it learns, SDV Enterprise can then faithfully recreate ID values in the right format when it's creating the synthetic data. So let's take a look at an example of an ID column. So in this one, your database might have a primary key ID that's a natural key. So it uses emails as a unique identifier for each user. So in this case, SDV Enterprise will recognize that these are emails. And then when it creates synthetic data, it'll create synthetic emails belonging to completely synthetic users. So these synthetic emails all follow the standard email conventions. So they have a username, an @ and then a domain. Here's another example of an ID column. This time it's a hybrid of a natural concept and a surrogate value. So like we've seen before, the first characters represent the type of financial transaction. In your financial database, this is an ACH transfer, a wire transfer, or a card payment. Then there's a dash, and then a random 6-digit code. And together, this value uniquely identifies a transaction that took place in your system. So in this case, SDV Enterprise automatically detects the format of this column and the fact that the first few letters are special. Then it creates synthetic data. It makes sure that only valid payment types are represented, but then it follows it up with some random new 6-digit surrogate values. And that's how it represents new synthetic transactions. Now, in some cases, there's no need to generate brand new synthetic values at all. You want the synthetic data to reuse the IDs that are present in the real data. This is helpful when these identifiers are external to your system or application. You don't control them, so you probably don't want to synthesize brand new ones. So SDV Enterprise actually understands when this is the case by looking at your data. And so by reusing the same ID values, SDV Enterprise makes sure that your synthetic data won't break anything when you're testing your application, for example, with an end-to-end integration test, an integration with another external system. So to summarize, SDV Enterprise gets your ID columns right so that your synthetic data can be used for testing applications. If you're interested in using SDV Enterprise, head over to datacebo.com to get started. That's all for today. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.